Hello, Exiles. This is Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, and it's been a long time, but I am here, and the lighting isn't very good. I'm here with my league start, which is Daggers Are Good Right, which is a Trickster, and I'm actually using Spectral Helix. So far, it's been a pretty smooth league start. I just want to talk about what I think of the league content. I actually think it's really fun, but it doesn't feel particularly rewarding. So the first, I guess, you can do about a couple of maps in the time it takes to do one of the mirror islands, and it just doesn't give that good of loot. So I'm a little disappointed in that. A lot of people have echoed that. It has a lot of potential. It's pretty fun. I'm just going to go in and do a quick map, and then I'm going to talk about my build. I have a good POB built currently, so I'll go over that, and then I will talk about everything from my leveling experience and all of that, how to put this together. It's pretty quick, simple build. So basically, I don't have all of my flasks automated yet. I still need a lot of orbs, but it's one of those you just whirling blade around the maps type thing. As any kind of claw or dagger build. The reasoning I decided to go with daggers is because I thought daggers have, first of all, some really cool masteries that I like a lot. I mean, so do claws, but everybody is running claws. Claws are going to be really expensive, and I'll show you my gear after this, but the dagger I got for literally 1 chaos. And this is a tier 10 map with vulnerability, nothing too dangerous. I guess I'll take off the overlay to make things a little bit visually clear. The map clear on this isn't fantastic, but it's got great damage. So as you can see, I do have to stand and throw a few Spectral Helixes into each pack because the coverage isn't good because of the way it rotates. Things can kind of move around them type thing. But the damage is solid. You get some of these juicy new rares. I didn't even notice I was really fighting. There you go. I have a rare. Some of them are really strong. The power balancing seems weird. So because I'm scaling lightning damage in this build, the prismatic skin and the other one that gives a bunch of, oh, this is really bad for Legion. I should probably block Legion, honestly. This build is absolutely terrible for Legion, but I'll do it anyway. Luckily, there's a lot of rewards that are kind of stuck together here. I'll probably just try to run and clear all them. Luckily, it was a small one. But yeah, as you can see, it's not like I'm going to be getting all of these. I could switch to Lightning Strike or Spectral Throw, and I'll talk about that a bit later as well. But I don't know if I'm going to or not. Probably not. I kind of like Spectral Helix. I'll probably stick with it for now. I'll just pick stuff up while I can. All right, and we'll get to the boss. Make sure I turn my Blood Rage back on. Currently, I'm just using Blood Rage to generate frenzies, and I actually do have a good way to generate frenzies against bosses as well. And I will go over that when I get to the boss and go over the build more. I have been picking up all of the uniques, even the ones that don't show up on my filters. I'm just going to put these randomly for now. Shrine, we'll put that towards the beginning. And I'll go over my thoughts on setting those up as well. I keep forgetting to press my flasks. Once I get them all automated, that won't be an issue, but I have like 20k, a little over 20k evasion even without my flasks up, so currently it's not that big of a deal. I think I have like 50k with my flasks up or something like that at the moment. Detonates corpses, so we should probably scooch on out of there. Get some elks. I definitely need elks. I'm running very low on elks because I've been running I've been buying up maps. Okay, so here's the boss. Just put up flame wall, and then I hold down the button and he's dead. So very quick, easy boss, very high single target damage, very high damage in general, and I'm currently on 51 chaos spent on gear, but 41 of that was spent on my boots, which are at Ziri Step. Quite expensive at the moment. If you have a build that's good at farming at Ziri, it might be a great idea, because at Ziri Step is one of the easiest ways to get a bunch of spell suppression at the moment. Luckily, I already have it on the tree, but, you know, otherwise, oops. Yeah, and one of the things this build has a problem with is the vampiric mod. So apparently I missed a large chunk of monsters somewhere, not really sure where. Oh, probably down here. Yep, okay. Oh, maybe not. I don't know if I should really be full clearing, but I'm just gonna. Whirling Blades is fast enough to get around. Okay, so quick setup there. Setup there. Very cheap to get started. I feel like I'm not going to have to make a ton of upgrades to get into tier 16s. Did the first Searing Exarch mini boss. Haven't done any of the big bosses yet. Alright, we can get out of here. What does Mercenaries a lot? I don't even recognize that one, honestly. But, okay. So all of that is set up. Oops. Get this, I'm currently working on strongboxes. I'm currently working on speccing out of Harvest for obvious reasons. People have talked about that. So let's go over the character first. So, daggers. Currently using daggers. The two masteries I have spec'd or critical hits or critical strikes have culling strike. Very good. Free cull. You don't have to have a secondary skill with culling strike linked in order to do it. Just adds like 10% more damage to pretty much everything you're doing. And also elusive grants 40% to crit multi for skills supported by Nightblade. We are using Nightblade. You could also do, there's a bunch of other stuff you could do. The spell suppress, it could be 20% if you want to dual wield daggers. I like running a shield. I think shield is fine. And, well, I'm going to get my POB pulled up while I'm going over this. But yeah, it's more or less just generic. One of the things I am running is point blank, and I'll talk about that. Have a little bit of a scuffed setup here. I'm actually going to respec this entire bottom section, including point blank, because I don't think I need the damage in order to go over here and get this more efficient spell suppression, so I can kind of get out of this and pick up some more damage and get some more crit multi, along with crit mastery, and the extra points will allow me to go up here, get Written of Blood, which will give me another mastery, which is more damage, and possibly enough points to also get the one with evil, so I can get Corrupted Blood immunity, which will allow me to drop that on my flask, and I might be able to run 5 utility flasks. With the only problem I'll have is running against vampiric mobs in the Arch Nemesis. But got my POB pulled up, and okay, so I'm going to explain how I leveled. So I'll go first to the pre-Helix. So pretty simple setup. Before Brutus, you want to rush over to Trickery and down to Blood Siphon. If you can get a Coral Ring, that'll help. It did not save what I had. Pre-Helix. Okay. So it shares it across. So this is a bit of a problem. I'm new to setting up these, but basically what you're going to do is we'll get rid of Spectral Helix here and replace it with Spark. So we'll be starting off with Spark, and then it'll probably only be like level 3 or 4, so we'll just do that. And then you're going to, none of this is going to be here. So it'll be Spark with Flame Wall and Orb of Storms. that'll be your setup. So DPS setup in the beginning, just Spark with the added lightning, Orb of Storms, which would not be this. And you want to set up so that you're kind of in your Orb of Storms, because that'll proc extra damage every time you cast Spark. And then you want to be shooting through your Flame Wall, which will add a very considerable amount of damage. So it's about 33% damage. And that's pretty big. And then from there, you want to move into Helix once you get that. And I don't know why it's not saving skill set. Okay, I need to set up a separate skill set for each of these. So once I set out the POB, I'll make sure and do that. But once you get Helix, you just change out Helix. You're still using Onslaught, you're dropping Orb of Storms, and you're going to want to add Precision and eventually Wrath. These will be like level 7 or so probably by time you get everything set up. So we'll just set that up here. Okay, so once you get Spectral Helix, this is going to be your setup. And then once again, you want to drop the Flame Wall down on top of you. The Spectral Helixes will go through. It is a little less of a considerable amount of damage at this point in the game with Flame Wall. It doesn't add quite as much, but it's still, you know, noticeable. This will probably be like level 7 actually, so it'll be a little bit more than that, but yeah, maybe like 10% more damage because we're not scaling the elemental. But the big thing is you want to go down, just beeline your way down here through the ranger part, and you want to get precise technique. This is extremely powerful. You are going to be pathing through life nodes, so you want to make sure that, you know, you keep your life lower than your accuracy, because your life does have to be lower than your accuracy to have precise technique work. But that's 40% more attack damage since we're not going crit yet. That, like, it's a huge amount of damage. 32% more damage, in fact. And then like 23% more damage. We're basically treating this like a melee skill, so point blank is very powerful as well. So we get 2 more damage multipliers out of that. Your damage is going to be absolutely nuts. Okay. And then moving on from there, this is basically what we're going to be doing until Blood Aqueduct. So same stuff over here, but now we're heading over, we're getting Arcing Blows, and the lightning damage with non-critical strikes is lucky. This is a 20% more damage multiplier. We're also going to be adding Reservation Mastery, so we're getting Charisma. We're getting the Evasion Mastery for Grace Reservation. We're getting Depth Perception, which will keep our accuracy high enough to where we can continue to use precise technique, because we are switching over to crit later, so we're not going to benefit from the crit component. But then we get the precision has reduced accuracy, and this we're going to be using all the way up into Blood Aqueducts. From there you can add life if you want in order to kind of set things up. You're going to be getting One Step Ahead, and then Polymath, and then Escape Artist as your third, and then finally Soul Drinker for Uberlab. And things really, you really notice all of them. Escape Artist isn't that huge unless you have an amazing amazing evasion chest or amazing ES helmet. But every other thing is really notable. One Step Ahead, I can't possibly say how great this is enough. So it's basically like a persistent chill for everything around you. This is really noticeable because we're going to be acting in melee range. So against all the bosses, you notice this. You're also freeze immune, you're chill immune, you're stun immune, you're temp chains immune. All from this one thing with the persistent chill. And then you get to just do everything 8% faster. Your movement speed, your attack speed, you're just zooming around. This makes Onslaught more powerful. From here at this stage, we're going to add a 4th link, of course, probably even before this. You can add elemental damage with attacks is one thing you can add. Probably going to be a little higher in terms of your skill levels at this point, but you can set that up. You're also going to add Grace, which is going to help significantly. in terms of evasion. Get a very high evasion. We'll just put everything to 10 here. Doesn't matter too much, but and once again, Flame Wall adding a little bit of damage, not that much, about 10%, but it is noticeable. So we get everything set up. They also take a little bit of the damage over time when being hit by the projectiles that go through the flame wall. So it's probably a little more damage than that even. But this is pretty much the setup you're going to use. It's very strong. And then finally, I'm just going to go ahead and get out of here. Don't save. Actually, I don't need to do that. I'll get back to that later. But basically, from that point on, you move on to this version of the tree. And from this version of the tree, you get all the dagger stuff. That's important with the Dagger Masteries. You want to get a dagger. I got this dagger for 1 chaos. It had tier 3 lightning damage, tier 2 attack speed, and tier 4 crit chance. And then I crafted onto it initially elemental damage with weapon attacks and later penetration once I got to that through doing betrayal quests. So very strong. Bulk of my investment in this build. I guess I should finish talking about the tree, but important stuff to talk about. This gives leech and a large amount of multi, so we're going through here because you want some leech, even though the sustain is pretty good. I don't have a lot of ES yet, so you want some attack damage leech as well to go with the ES leech. So you're basically leeching everything all the time. Elusive effect, which scales well with Nightblade, along with Elusive also grants additional crit multi with Nightblade. When everything's fully pumping, that's a lot. Of course, you're going to want Ghost Dance. Anything that scales ES and Evasion is going to get Ghost Dance. You can see my effective HP is not that high. It's like 4,500, a little more than 4,500. Doesn't matter. I don't have any problems surviving most maps. As far as the reflections for the lake, I get like, once I get up to like 9 or 10, I start having a little trouble. But anything prior to that, if I set up so that, you know, most of my later tiles that are hit are between 8 and 10, I don't have too much trouble there either. I am running Wind Dancer. I kind of spec in and out of this. I'm not super sure about it. Of course, Forces of Nature giving more penetration is very good. Currently, I have the 15% all resist because my resists are not great. My gear isn't great, and I'll go over that. But not having too much trouble despite the bad gear. Chaos damage does not bypass energy shield. My chaos resist is negative 44. I hope to remedy that with better gear soon. All this dagger stuff, very good. Crit multi over here. So we spec out of elemental focus and spec into assassination. We have enough generic damage, so we want to be scaling our crit at that later point. Since we're no longer in precise technique, we get life. Could get more life than that, but of course I get the 50 life mastery. Remember, masteries, each one of these masteries that's different from the others is going to give you 3% more damage. So we have a life one here, a spell that's 2, 3 for mark mastery, 4, 5 for evasion mastery, 6 for elemental mastery, 7 for dagger mastery, 8 for lightning mastery, 9 for accuracy mastery, and 10 for evasion and energy shield mastery. So currently that's 30% more damage. We're going to add 2 more with energy shield mastery and crit mastery at some point in the near future. So that'll be 36% more damage. And possibly the resistant and ailment mastery, so 39% more damage. So once we spec out of this part down here, get this more efficient spell suppression so that we can spec out of some of this, get a little bit more damage, as well as more damage. So that's going to be huge. Very, very big upgrades coming here. So that's pretty much the skill tree. Everything. I helped Alira. I think helping Alira is very nice because you're going to have some mana issues while leveling. So that helps a ton with that. Also helps with resistances. So big there. Gear time now. So let's talk about the gear. Talked about this already. Helmet. Ideally, you want just a pure energy shield helmet instead. This is good enough for me for now. I haven't really seen the need to upgrade it, so I haven't yet. Gloves, lightning damage to attack and or attack speed, along with spell suppression is good, of course. I need int, so I crafted some int on it. These are fine, but could definitely use an upgrade. This belt's not bad. It's got a decent amount of ES life. Has chaos resistance and elemental damage with attack skills. So basically, I'd like something like this, but with higher rolls and on a crystal belt instead. Would be kind of the ideal situation. Etziri's Step. What I used prior to Etziri's Step was Wake of Destruction. I got these very early, and rather than using a claw, I actually used Fidelitas' Spike during pretty much all of leveling. It was extremely strong. By the way, before you get Wrath, you do want to use Herald of Thunder once you get access to that while leveling. I didn't mention that, but that's something that's very important to note. So, Fidelitas, Spike, and Wake of Destruction made leveling even easier, so if you can get your hands on these. I actually used these up until I got Etziri's Step. Until level 85, I literally just got these. So they cost me 41 chaos. I have 4 chaos left. As far as rings, this is alright. Life, some resist, crafted, lightning damage to attacks. Like I said, these lightning damage to attack crafts you get on jewelry are very good. So you want to do that. You get the first one after beating, or in the Chamber for Piety, it's a level 16 to craft it. So if you're playing your second character, you can just craft these onto a rare ring with an open prefix as soon as you hit level 16, and you'll be cruising. Have some coffee there. Amulet. Excuse me. Amulet, I bought this for like 5 or 6 chaos. It's got a lot of strength, a lot of intelligence, life, lightning damage to attacks, and all resist. This is actually pretty decent. I then put Divine Judgment, which is a very cheap way to get a lot of elemental damage. This ring I self-found. It's very bad. I need to upgrade it soon, but it does have a lot of elemental damage, has no life, very little resistance. Overall, definitely needs an upgrade. Body armor 6 link. I bought this for like 3 or 4 or 5 chaos. It was very cheap, super cheap, but it does have a little bit of life, a little bit of resist, decent evasion rating over 1,000. You can get much better than this later on. And then the 10% suppressed spell damage, which is actually vital to my current setup because it does allow me to hit 100% spell suppression, which is very important to the build. You feel way tankier once you hit it. It's very easy to hit like 40 or 50% spell suppress, but hitting 100 makes all the difference. So I would prioritize that if possible. Speaking of, got some spell suppress on the shield as an implicit supreme spiked shield. This one has good evasion and energy shield, not great, but good enough. Good resistance and some life that I crafted on. Plus the block, I guess, might make a difference. Block and evasion actually synergize pretty well, but the chance to block is very low, so it's probably not going to make a huge difference, but it's something. So that's the gear. Talked about the helmet, need to upgrade this. So my priorities to upgrade are going to be like the ring, the helmet, and then the body armor. I don't really need to upgrade the weapon, but it might be cheaper to upgrade the weapon than anything else. Because like I said, this was 1C. You can craft better ones than this with essences. I don't think I have a lot of essences because I haven't been prioritizing. Speaking of, this is my current Atlas setup. So what I did with that, I went through the June mission things because I wanted to unveil a lot of stuff, lots of unveils, and it also gives a lot of experience. Then I went shaping the skies. Then I went Stream of Consciousness, and then I went Shaping the Seas. So once I had, and then Commissioned Officer. So I basically shot through the June stuff up through here, got the map stuff. This map stuff has been enough to sustain, so just like 2 notables type thing. I'm probably not going to get Shaping the Valleys because I'm actually going to be crafting Ambush. As you can see, I'm going for Strongbox. I did initially have this whole wheel for Harvest, but I spec'd out of all of it. Harvest just doesn't feel great. I'm also going to spec out of this stuff here soon. Once I get some more refund points, I might still spec this metal. I kind of just liked the quantity and rarity, but it's not really necessary, and there's better stuff I can get. So I might just spec out of all of this stuff here, which will give me a ton of points. What I am going to do is I'm going to be getting, where are we here? Not Delve, not Abyss, but yeah, I'm definitely going to be getting strong boxes and expedition. So I'm going to be heading over and specking into expedition. So I'm probably going to specialize in just expedition and strong boxes. I think that's pretty decent because this build doesn't do well in legions. It does okay in breaches. There's just, it's pretty specialized in certain kinds of content. So I'm going to go for that. I did block off Heist. I don't want to do Heist. Blight, this build probably would be fine in Blight, but I don't really like Blight. Metamorph, I think Metamorphs are stupid with Arch Nemesis. I don't want to do Metamorph at all. Honestly, it doesn't matter if you're strong enough to kill the Metamorphs. It's just, they're so overtuned. They're stronger than any of the, anything, basically. They're so strong at the moment. I wouldn't recommend doing Metamorphs. Maybe you like doing it. Maybe you like that challenge or have like an insanely overtuned build. My current build does like 700, 800,000 POB DPS against like rares and stuff. It's just nothing against Metamorphs, basically. So get that all set up. But yeah, that's pretty much a setup. Just doing secret operations, tamper proof, twice tempted, and I'm gonna do all of this stuff. I like these duplicates and get this increased chance for specialized setups. And once I get a good stack of chaos again, I'm gonna start crafting ambush, which is for C. Also, because I have shaping the seas, I get special things like this monstrous treasure that I get crafts occasionally. That's going to be huge for that setup. So strong boxes with monstrous treasure are going to give me just a boatload of extra stuff. So good synergy there. But yeah, then I pop over, do all the expedition stuff. And I've already got a decent amount of expedition currency. Well, maybe not decent, but I am spending it very quickly. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of expeditions and logbooks. I'm going to be doing a lot more of that. That's pretty much everything that I have to talk about. Long video. It's been a while. I know it's been a while. I'm doing other stuff other than YouTube at the moment. Still playing PoE, but I haven't played it that much in the last couple of leagues. This is actually the first time playing Spectral Helix. I should probably talk about that. Spectral Helix with added lightning, Nightblade, elemental damage, inspiration, and increased critical strikes. Then I have Wave of Convictions and Steel Skin with cast on damage taken. That means when I'm bossing, I'm occasionally going to be shooting out Wave of Conviction and applying exposure. Got Assassin's Mark with Mark on Hit. Very important with this. Mark Mastery is how I get my frenzy charges on setups. Got my loud motorcycle neighbor going, but yeah. Pretty easy to get the flat frenzy charges with this. Also, Mark the Prey is a lot of extra damage. Marked enemies take 10% increased damage. It's very big. So synergizes well with the Mark on Hit Assassin's Mark. I have slower projectiles, which I may or may not switch in. I messed around with that a little bit, using Blood Rage to generate while mapping. Flame Wall, I actually have burning damage. End game, level 19 Flame Wall with no links was killing white mobs, so I decided to just put burning damage on it so I can lay it down and do some extra damage. I don't know. It just seems like it's a really overtuned skill, but I couldn't imagine using it as a main skill. Then Wrath and Grace, and that's pretty much the whole setup. So Flasks as well, Silver Flask, with gain flask charges when we crit strike, so that's up a lot. And that's currently used when charges reach full. I want to set that up for the rest of my flasks as well. I probably want to get like shock immune on one of my flasks, but you know, probably whatever ends up here once I get corrupted blood immunity from resistant and ailment protection. Yep, that's it. That's the whole video. Hope you enjoy. This has been Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, and I will see you next time. Bye.